Yeah. MD, JPB, it's only right, baby.
Yeah, why you mad? I got a bad bro. Name hot in these streets, no Tabasco. But I'm so stuck, that's a fact, yo. And if you think I'm frontin', you can run it back, yo. Boy, run it back.
You know that I run it. Everything you wanna do, I already done it. And I got your little boo telling me she love me. I got this damn, it's gonna be a long night.
Hello guys, what is up? It is me, Prince of What-Ifs, and I'm back here with another video. And today, I am doing What If Asta was Zoro's Reincarnation, Part 9, Defeat. And we're gonna get right into it, as I have nothing else to say, but I hope you guys enjoyed the last video, the movie. That's what I'm gonna say, I have nothing else to say. Let's begin. And sorry about the background noise. So, we last started off with Asta being convicted of a crime, and to this he responded by killing some mages and almost killing Damnatio. But it was stopped by the Black Bulls, and after this he then led to the Heart Kingdom, and the Black Bulls along with Mimosa came to him and Little Petrica, and Julius struck the deal with with the Heart Kingdom, and they made an alliance through a device that Mimosa brought. Then a time skip happened. The Clover Kingdom was attacked by the Triad, but they also fought back, destroying fortresses and regaining land until Xenon, Dante, and Vanica finally attacked. But to their shock, their enemies were more equipped and ready for them, and they were way more surprised. In the Spade Kingdom, we then see Noct appear in what is the stronghold of the Dark Triad, as he has stormed it entirely but found nothing. They can hold out a little longer, right? Noct would ask, as one of his contracted devils will form, saying it is impossible, and hearing this, Noct would fall back into the shadows, returning to the Clover Kingdom. Meanwhile, back at the Black Bulls base, an intense battle between Asta and Dante is continuing, with Asta slashing down and clashing with the gravity sword made by the devil user. Dante would then make use of his original magic, making his arm gain more muscle fibers, making it gigantic as he would hit towards Asta, who would dodge before then cutting him across the chest. That's useless. However, Dante's torso would then explode with blood, revealing a giant gash. Useless, huh? Asta would say, as he then quickly spins in midair and coming down with a triple slash, but as he hits Dante, he is stopped by a barrier of gravity, as the force of Asta still ripples out through the air though, reaching the forest down below and destroying some of the terrain even more, with Grain then yelling, "Hey, stop it, I'm the one that has to fix this later." Yeah, I don't think he can hear you. I know, but still, Gray would say. As he keeps blocking Asta, Dante then sees control of his magic being messed with, and he would think, he's different, too different, a natural born devil. Stop blocking, Asta would demand, as Dante gets nauseated and frozen with fear from Asta's conqueror spirit, and Asta then cuts through his barrier, and then he thrusts forward, stabbing through his chest. But it wasn't enough, with Dante then contracting his body using his original magic, stopping Asta from pulling it out now. Then he sends Asta flying with a blast of magic to the point where he basically warps space, but as Asta crashes, he stops himself and ends up putting his mouse sword into his right hand and getting more serious. 100%. As he says this, sharp giant rocks are sent at him, with him disappearing and appearing right in front of Dante in his full devil form. Asta now had a crown made from his many devil horns, while having a blood red armor, with his wings having grown even more, and his very presence commanded magic to disappear. I can't use magic. Anti-mana zone. Nitoriu. Anti-magic will be rippling out, stopping Dante from doing anything, as with an instantaneous and swift movement, Asta rips up Dante more than 100 times, stopping his regeneration ability, and soon he stops, as Dante is then blown apart, having his connection to Lucifero severed by Asta's anti-magic. Asta then senses someone and turns around to see Noct flying with some devil wings, as he then asked if he was here for a fight as well. A shocked Noct is unable to respond, simply shaking his head no, and then Asta notices the robe he's wearing under his cloak, and he sees his sword. "So you're one of us, huh? Yami told me about you. Sorry, but I kinda took your spot as vice captain." He then exits the 100% form, with Libe forming and saying he wished he got to beat down that devil more, and as they talk, Noct is just thinking, anti-magic? From down below, the two then hear the other Black Bull yelling and asking if everything was fine, and Asta yelled yes, as we then go to Yuno fighting Zenon. And honestly, Zenon never stood a chance, as he is currently trying to keep away and trying to avoid Yuno's arrow strikes, but to no avail, as he quickly has to keep regenerating to stay alive. By this time, Yuno already cleared out all the people that were hurt, and outside Vengeance is healing them, as Langris then looks upon this battle, frozen in fear, but also excitement, and the Golden Dawn members can't believe what they're seeing either. Did Yuno get even stronger than last time? Yeah, he's completely overpowering that thing. As they say, this is when Zenon gets struck in his devil heart, and then a gaping hole forms, expanding even more, shocking him. This might not work on Asta, but it's plenty for you. Get out of my kingdom. He then falls over dying as the aura of his devil starts to ooze out of him, severing his connection with, well, his devil as well. And Von John and the others run up to Yuno asking if he's okay, and he would say, I should be asking you guys that. Saying this with a smile, he makes the whole squad feel a lot much better and much more like confident that things are going to work out. And this is when they hear an eerie voice with the devil that was possessing Zenon saying, I will be back, human. This isn't over. And we'll be waiting, Yuno would say, as the Golden Dawn members all nod and the devil vanishes. Sorry about that. Not having a hold to this world anymore, he is gone now. And we go to the final fight at little Pechika's place. Well, she was there. Actually, we're gonna go to the Clover Kingdom real quick. So at the Clover Kingdom, little Pechika is at Julius's place, and she is freaking out as she would then be like asking herself, why would he do that? She'll kill them. It's all because of me. Marx, who's in the office along with Julius, would then tell her to calm down, but she would say, how am I supposed to do that? Being here isn't my job. I'm the queen. I should be there fighting. You should trust them more, your highness, Marx would say, as Julius then nods, saying, amazing things happen when my knights have something to fight for. In the back of the Black Bulls base, Dante is of course dead, and Asta lands with Noct taking his sword out of Dante's body, and then he wipes the blood off of it by swiping it, just swinging his sword, and then he resheaths it. Gosh, Gray, and Vanessa then run out and see Noct, and Gosh would ask, another enemy? Noct then says nothing, still contemplating what just happened, but also says he's not an enemy, and if anything, he is part of the squad, and he used to be the vice captain. Where did Yami find you? Asta then turns around saying, I know that, but what are you? He was willing to sell his soul to Lucifero, and he's still lost. So? Asta would say. Levi would then say, I think he's more shocked at the fact that you took them down at all. He's the king of all devils, Well, I'm the strongest swordsman. I don't think that relates at all, Vanessa would say. And Asta says, really? Well, either way, he lost. Let me call Yuno real quick. Their squad is nearer to the capital. They've definitely got ambushed. He then pulls out a communication device and calls Yuno, who would appear in holographic form, and he would ask, something wrong? Asta says, no, but you beat him, right? Within an inch of his life, he would say, as Noct would just be asking what devil it was, and Asta then asked Yuno what devil he be, and he said he didn't know, but he was using a combination of spatial magic and bone magic. Zenon. Even I barely believe it, but these kids are close to ending what should be a war in just a few hours. Now we are going to go to Noel, Finro, and Vanica fighting, as they will be destroying the Heart Kingdom with no one being able to approach, as Luck would then be saying, wow, what a pretty show, and Magna says, I hope they're fine. Of course, Luck said that's a pretty show in a sarcastic tone. He's terrified as fuck. Who wouldn't be? Zoro and Charmy then woke up with Gaja and the other Guardians, who said that the last of Vanica's men were taken down, and Zoro would say, now those losers just have to beat that bitch. They better not mess it up. In the air, as Noel's spear thrusts into Vanica, she would get another gaping hole in her stomach, with her thinking, even with my steel magic, how is she doing this? As Vanica uses her incredible speed, appearing right behind Noel, she releases multiple blades covered in blood and attacks, but Noel disappears into a portal like she had been the entire fight, with Vanica getting pissed as she looks down at Finro, who would say, you should focus on your opponent, ma'am. Megicula would then sense Noel going for her heart and attacking from the back, and Vanica is then pierced through the heart by Noel. Do you want to use it? Megicula would whisper to Vanica, and Vanica then starts to fall before she then crashes, cratering into the ground, and Noel would then land down, breathing heavily, being quite tired. Too much. I used too much magic. I'm not used to his form yet. Undine would then ask if Noel is okay, and she would say it's fine, but in this instant, Megicula appears behind Noel, who turns back shocked, only to have her stomach burst with blood to her shock, and she just actually didn't even notice the attack that Megicula or Vanica, both of them, used. How do you like that, huh? Vanica would say, as Noel then falls to the ground with her body healing itself, just as Megicula then senses something, and she steps to the right, quickly teleporting and appearing behind at Finro's side. Shit, she figured it out, Finro would think, as Megicula then laughs, saying, you're a weird guy, You knew this was gonna happen, but you still fought me. Also, if you want to know what just happened, because I didn't exactly make it clear, Finro has been kind of disguising his magic, kind of making it invisible to the eye, using the spatial, like by manipulating space, because it is spatial magic, and he's been using that to kind of, pitch what's it called, teleporting volleys or whatever the hell you want to call it at Noel to teleport her to other places. This time, Vanica sensed it and stepped in, and she got the jump on him. She would then grab him by the hair before then going to kill Finro completely, but then he smiles, saying, just kidding. A portal then opens up in the stomach, and as she strikes there, she would get some hit like from something from behind, and she looks down to see that her own hand is going through her own stomach from the back, and she sees her hand coming out of a portal. Impossible. How did I? You're probably wondering how. It's runes. We got you. As the spectral magic disperses, Vanika would then kick Finro away, but as he is about to crash into rubble, he is then caught by Yami, who arrives on the scene dressed up all fancy, even having a mantle now, and Noelle would say, "Captain." Noelle would then exit her spirit dive form and releasing Undine, who would then form behind her, asking, "Why did you stop?" "I've done enough. This isn't about me. Megicula has to die or Lilopechka will never be free." But are you sure you can beat them?" Noelle then says she's sure of it, as Yami then puts down Finro, saying, "Not bad, shrimp." And as he puts down Finro, Yami would then walk out, meeting Vanika, who would say, "Oh, Megicula, that's him, right?" She would then begin to talk with the devil in her head, and Megicula would say he is indeed one of the sacrifices needed to open the portal. And Yami then points his sword at her, saying, he does not know what the hell she's talking about or what the hell she's doing, but you hurt my men. That means your death is guaranteed. Vanika then tells him to try, launching her blood projectiles at him at incredible speed, as Yami then steadies his breath before then coating his sword in mana, saying, "I'm about to." In the blink of an eye, Yami then knocks away the projectiles, appearing in front of Vanika with a thrust to her heart, but she senses it and dodges, jumping into the air before then spinning and clawing at him, but Yami would then cut off her hand. Vanika is wide-eyed as Yami then steps forward, doing a dimensional slash, cutting off her head, and to avoid, dying, Vanika would grab her own head and jump away, putting it back on and rehealing it. "More. I need more." She would then release all her magic while Yami readies his sword patiently, and his grimoire would then shine, and he would think, "I love this feeling," as all the mages around feel constricted and almost nauseated from the devil's release of magic, before out of her back would then come out giant tendrils of blood and steel that attack Yami at like hypersonic, not beyond light speed, and an explosion occurs with the entire area, where Yami is being ripped up to shreds, and Undine gets worried, but can see that Noelle is still confident. "You don't like that, do you, Dark Mage?" As she would keep just attacking with these giant contraptions over and over. She's literally destroying everything. But then Yami would say, "No, I don't," as Vanika in an instant sees that he is behind her and her entire torso is blown out and gets destroyed before she can even notice by Yami's death thrust that comes from behind, and he also combined it with his dimensional slash. And he did this all while holding Finro as well, who he saved. Vanika's limbs then fall to the ground bloodied as she is now dead, and Megicula's body presence, her presence, oozes out of her, saying that this wasn't over and it never will be. "Don't worry, next time we're coming for you. You can bet on that." Megicula is entertained by the words of this human and, welcomes them to try before then vanishing, and Yami would say, "Pests." He would then put down Finro, who thanks him before then falling to his butt exhausted, and he would say, "God, it's finally over. I'm so tired." Undine is wide-eyed seeing this happen, with her saying, "So that's why he hasn't shown his face, but how? What kind of training has he been doing?" And Noelle would say, "Asta and him went on a little trip for a while, and after that he barely came to the base, but at least now Lilopechka is saved, right?" Now back at Julius's place, Lilopechka, as she keeps walking around nervously in her room, which was given to her by Julius, she feels a dark aura leave her body and sees it, as she would then wonder if they really did it, and as she looks inside her dress, her body was free of the curse mark, and she only has tears filling her eyes, not knowing how to describe this feeling of happiness. And in then walks Marks, who is about to ask what's wrong, when he is then hugged by Lilopechka and gets nervous, realizing that the king of the heart kingdom is hugging him, but she seemed too happy for him to push her away, so he couldn't stop her and just accepted the hug. "Was it the Black Bulls again?" he would ask. And after this, the other devil possessed people were killed by the Golden Dawn. There is still in the kingdom, and other groups join in, of course. The Spade Kingdom is raided, with all the devils getting massacred and the people were rescued, and while the kingdom of Spade is being freed, Noct has gathered everyone, including to talk, but Asta is not here, as he then tells the captains that will be leading the Spade Kingdom, as he is the heir, and the heir of it, and a noble, a prince to be exact. And Yami would say, "Well, ain't that something?" Nozel is the most shocked to hear this, thinking, "A prince? His position is higher than mine. I could have never imagined." Out of curiosity, he then asks about Asta, and this is what gets everyone on edge, on the edge of their seats, especially but Noct would then say, "What about him? He's as common as they come." "You're not lying, are you?" Nozel would ask. "How can a commoner have that much power?" And Noct would say, "I said he was a commoner, but that doesn't mean there isn't something off about him. My devils have been saying so." "Do you know what exactly it is?" would ask, and Julius would say, "Why don't we find out now?" As he would then tell Marks to go get Asta, and he nods, running off, and soon he returns with Asta, who would say, "Sup." "Put on a shirt at least," Nozel would say, and Asta says, "Don't want to." This only pisses off Nozel more and more, but he keeps it in, and Julius would then ask, "Who are you, Asta?" Everything then goes quiet, and Asta asks, "Yeah, you have to be more specific. I'm a lot of things. What do you mean?" Yuno would then say, during the battle with the elves, something Zagreus said still stuck in my head. He was talking like you didn't belong here. What's that about? See, that's what you have to say. But if you want to know, Asta would say, in short, I'm a reincarnator, like the elves. Everyone hearing this would be shocked, with Nocton asking if he was a reincarnation of a devil, and Asta laughed, saying, something like that. I was the strongest swordsman where I'm from. Don't bother looking for me. I'm not from this world. Seriously? Yami would say. No wonder. If you want to check, I'll let you. You have magic for that, right? Julius, in anticipation that keeps tapping Marks, telling him to use his magic, and he does, telling him to calm down, as a dome of sorts appear on Asta's head, and he would then ask Asta to think of his past life. Oh, really then? That. A holographic screen would then show itself as they would show the Straw Pirates hanging out on their ship, and Asta would say, see that guy with the green hair? That's me. Everyone gets close up wanting to make sure that this isn't fake, and the picture then switches to Zoro cutting down Pika in their battle at Dressrosa. Jack would then say, in awe and shock, three-sword style. You are a reincarnator. Who are those people? Yami would ask, and Asta then laughed, saying, who are those people? Yami would ask, and Asta then laughed, saying that they were part of his pirate crew. They were his crewmates, and Yuno would say, you used to be a pirate? Asta then nods, showing all of his crewmates fighting before then showing Luffy. Luffy would then look forward, in the screen, he would just look forward, using his Conqueror's Haki, just freezing everyone. It's not even real, but they can feel the pressure this man is exuding. It is, amazing. As Yami would say, the king of pirates? So that was your captain. You wanted me to catch up to that? Multiple screens would then show how each Straw Hat found each other, from Zoro being rescued by Luffy, to Usopp leaving the village, to Nami being saved by Erlong, to them even declaring war against the government, etc. Before then showing a scene of Zoro being beaten by his childhood friend. I forgot her name, but she is obviously an important person in Zoro's life. And Asta would say, I used to be so weak. Marks then stops his magic and everything disappears, with all the captains not knowing how to react at all. Hey, you asked. If I'm correct, I reincarnated the very day this kid was born. I must have been slowly regaining my memories. As you can tell, I've seen some things. That's not easy to put into a new body. They all then nod simultaneously in the gaze, with Asta saying, yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a moment. He's then about to leave when Yuno says it's fine, snapping out of this gaze, and he would say, I don't care about your past life. Well, that's rude. Yuno then punches him on the head, saying, shut up and let me finish. What was that for, you little brat? Yuno would then say, you're still Asta to me. That will never change. You could have done that without punching me. Julius then says, I think we all just need a moment. The elves are understandable, but the existence of another world is out of my expertise. Nozel would then say, that explains why you're so strong, and Asta says, hey, even if I didn't reincarnate, this kid would be still this strong. Well, probably not strong enough to defeat that Dante guy, but definitely strong enough to beat some of you. That's ridiculous. It's true. Fuyama would then say, okay, let's not argue about this, but I think we should keep this between us. This is still too much. Are you still sleeping? He would say to the, the captain of the peacocks, and, she can hear everything. She's just sleeping, and they're just like, unbelievable. How is this woman still sleeping? Seriously, what is she still, doing? Does she even do anything? I'm sorry, but I do not notice her presence. I know it's on purpose to make her mysterious or whatever, but even after she showed herself, I did not give a fuck. Anyway, Asta would then say, good, then I'm gonna go get some booze. Who wants some? Me. God, I need a drink. Now we're gonna do a little time skip before I end this, and at the age of 26, Yuno takes the Spade Kingdom, becoming its king, and he collaborates with the Heart Kingdom. The Clover Kingdom would take Yami as the next Wizard King, and after that, a lot of things change. Common discrimination is answered, with nobles usually losing their status or being imprisoned, for real, and if it's that bad, they get killed on the spot. And it really did change a lot of things, because nobles can be held up to the same standard as anyone else. You can have your status and, have all the luxury, but if you keep doing stupid shit and just keep discriminating and hurting and killing people, you will die. That's just fair. If you keep doing that stuff, you're just gonna ruin the kingdom. And this is also because Julius, instead of being the Wizard King, Yami takes a spot. He becomes the actual king of the kingdom, taking the place of that rotten, horrible, annoying king that we all hate. And he manages way better, which is why the discrimination has come to a halt. Asta becomes the captain of, the Black Bulls, and everyone on the Black Bulls stays this time. Noah doesn't become the captain of the, the Silver Eagles, because, there's no point. And Leopold became the captain of the Crimson Knights, etc. And this all takes place in a span of 11 years. And the rest is up to you guys. So have fun. And that is the end of the video. I have nothing else to say. This is the end of the series, actually. I hope you guys enjoyed this little journey. I hope it wasn't annoying to have to hear my voice today. I know I interrupted some of y'all probably during lunch when I posted that Yami video, but still, it was worth it. And the next up is what if Naofumi was an Uchiha? Remember, it is just a continuation. I am not doing an entire new series. Hell no. I'm finishing it up in one part only. That is where I stop. Alright. And also, you guys can tell me what you think of this thing that I made. I made it in art class. I was just bored. And yeah, tell me what you think. I might make a new avatar if you guys like the design and the style that I'm using. And yeah, I'll be able to, like, you know, kind of put it on screen and put it in different positions. If you guys want, just tell me and I'll actually make a new avatar. Or if you want, I can use the same design for this character and just use that. Alright, see you guys. Stay safe. Peace.